Hello, lovers. Welcome to yet another episode of Phat Chats. You're here with Jade Mason from Sexy and Sovereign, as she is, and Melissa Louise from The Pleasure Studio. We are so excited to be here today, as always. We get to hang out and chat, but we also get to chat about some really fantastic topics. And today we're going to continue on from last week, going further into this business of no, how to receive, how to give no's, all of the nuances. Plus, we've got some other juicy things to throw in.
Oh my God, so many juicy things. But as well is the building blocks of trust. So holding our no and building trust and what is trust, and we want to chat to the brothers about, and the sisters of course, but we really want to chat about what we can trust in you. And we've got some great stories to share about our week with our dating adventures and interactions with real-time people. So it's going to be fun.
We poke them. We know they're real. It's okay. We poke them.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm licking mine. I licked it. It's real.
I licked it, therefore it's mine.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Do you know, speaking of licking, we have a cock waffle bakery down the road from me.
A cock waffle bakery?
I did not know it was here until a few weeks ago.
Mexico is fucking glorious.
How much fun is that? Speaking of licking,
Is it
I might
really
just go in and lick.
It can't be a cock waffle bakery.
Honey, I've got a friend arriving from the States and we're going to go in there both together. I don't want to go there and like sort of ruin my surprise. We're going to do it together and we're going to video it, and I'm going to send you, I might even call you. Let's do a video call and you can see me licking cock waffles. I'm going to lick them all. Can you imagine going up to people? It's fine now. Sorry.
Oh, the fun shenanigans. I can't wait for our Mexico retreat.
Neither can I, honey. We'll just be you can find us in the cock waffle bakery.
Ladies, we're going to the cock waffle shop today. Get your lick on. Get your lick on. Get your lick on. Okay, where are we? What are we talking about?
Well, I was going to ask you, have you had a sexy moment? What's your slutty moment, babe, other than wanting to lick waffles?
Oh my God, I've had so many. But my favorite slutty moment was driving head jobs are the best. It's like that moment when you just look at your person and you're like, oh my God, you're so hot right now. I need to lick you. Put it in my mouth. So we've been pole driving for hours and hours, and then I just look at him and I'm like, yes, take your pants off while you're driving. And it got really hot and heavy, so then we just pulled over, fucked on the bonnet, and then obviously at the same time we both went, oh, we're right next to the road. So it was like we literally just were so hot and steamy that we pulled over a little bit off the road. Yeah, that was my slutty moment. It was such a turn on because we could get caught at any moment. So it was like a bonnet quickie.
A bonnet quickie. So you didn't realize you were on the road because there was a semi truck going past or a family car coming home from church. Can you imagine a Holden with 3 kids in the back and the mother?
What are they doing, Mummy? Why is he? Why is that man doing that to that nice lady over there?
I love how you assume 3 kids in a car would call you a nice lady. I mean, that's where your brain goes. Kids call me nice lady. And I'm so nice.
Melissa, I live in a friendly universe. I wake up inside of a friendly universe every day.
Oh my goodness. I'm laughing so much I pulled my light out. Everyone else can go and get fucked. So yes, I like how in your universe Children are like, I'm so nice that people can tell from the back of a car, even when they're 6 years old. That's how nice I am. Sorry, I'm digressing from your
This
sexy
has
bonnet
gone
moment.
way less sexy. Like, did you have
I
to
know.
bring
I know. I just said that. I went,
now
sorry.
I'm feeling socially guilty.
Are you?
I'm having
No.
a proper slut shame moment where I didn't think of the possibility of children in the back of the car.
Children in a Holden. So let's delete. What do they do in Access Consciousness? They delete that out of time. So
Okay. Cancel, clear, delete, poc, pod.
it's a clue to.
What else do they say? Short nines, boys and beyond.
I have no idea what he was talking
I'm
about.
supposed to remember all that shit. Now I just go cancel, clear, delete.
Okay, cancel, clear, delete the Holden. Meanwhile, JD and her human
Has a happy vagina.
JD has a very happy vagina, and your human has a very happy magical penis.
He does. Very lickable, lovely lingam.
Lickable lingams.
What was your sexy moment of the week?
My sexy moment of the week was a solo one. I get this. I worked out by default that my bedroom floor is obviously not flat. Because
Mexico.
my son went away for the night, Saturday night. So I had a clear intention that Sunday morning was my, oh my God, self-pleasure time. Set up my whole space, was doing breath work, using my glass wand, using my jade egg. And I just like got this huge message, get on the floor, get off the bed. So I get on the floor and I continue and I'm on all fours. And next minute I just flooded. It's like the bathroom flooded. I flooded because I remember I just like so much ejaculate on the floor. And I'm just my head's tilting and I'm like, no wonder men are so enamored by it. Like I was just mouth open. So I got up and I'm watching. I'm like, it all went out onto the door. And I opened the door. Puppy's licking.
Oh no. Look, it's the nectar of life itself. So, you know.
So I had this glorious moment. I actually cried a lot. I do that when I have my own G-spot. I'm going to stop calling it G-spot, my own sacred area orgasm. I often cry. So it was interesting. So I was crying and I was not interesting. It was beautiful. And so when I opened the door, it's like, oh God, now I've got to go into cleanup mode. Like there's a situation to sort out.
Oh. So typical way. Just having the most amazing universal moment. Next thing, chaos.
So
that sounds so beautiful.
Yeah, it was actually.
So let's talk for a moment about why we don't call it a G-spot, because female body parts do not need to be named after men.
Who finally found her. My question is, how long was he searching?
And why did he claim it as his?
It's like, climbing Mount Everest and sticking a flag in. This is mine. I've been searching for 15 years for this and now I found it.
Yes. There's another part, I can't remember, I think it's like in the fallopian tubes. It's a part of the anatomy of conception, and because a male doctor discovered it, he named it after himself. So there's actually two really significant female sexual body parts that are named after male doctors because they believe they discovered it. And I just think it's fucking shit. Like,
oh yeah, let's go down that road because I've got something else I want to bring.
Male privilege.
Male privilege.
Yes. I am going to forever. All women
from here on
are going to have their body parts named after me. So the guy who apparently discovered the G spot. What was his name? Greg.
No, he's a German guy, and his last name is one of those long words
Right. So
that
that's
are a
why
bit
it's called.
undescribable.
That's why it's called the G spot. So
And I
Mosa
mean,
has educating people about it
it's
being
not
the
a
sacred
spot.
spot, and it's not a spot.
It's not a spot. It's this whole spongy tissue that's wrapped around the urethra. And it's exactly the same tissue that's up the bums of men. So the prostate gland in the female is exactly the same tissue as a prostate gland in the male. Ours is wrapped around the urethra. That exact same tissue is up the anus in the masculine body. So gotta go searching. JD, maybe we could like just claim, the JM spot. We can call the prostate the JM spot.
Imagine if
MJ spot. The MJ spot. That's it. We're going to start calling the male prostate. It's an MJ spot. We'll give you back the G if you give us back. If you want the J and M taken out, you've got to take out the G. We'll do a swapsies.
MJ. It sounds like some kind of car. It's like a racer. Ding a ding.
Yeah, and this whole thing that it's a spot, this whole thing around the fact that he's even calling it a spot. Yeah, there's a whole political agenda around that. Just like there's a political agenda around the hymen. But we could go into that now if you like, or we can continue down our other trajectory.
I feel like it's kind of off topic, but it's on topic. So we will go into this in the next few episodes, because what we're doing is we're building each week upon itself. And this week we really wanted to go deeper into the layers of trust. And I've had some beautiful feedback from my cousins and my lover, beautiful. And it's been really great to hear from the men what they need to trust as well. So this whole thing about the hymen and the body parts, in sharing awareness, we get to take back a little piece of what's not trustable, because essentially sexually, we as females, we know when we're being approached in a really patriarchal, male privileged way. And I just want to say, like, I'm not saying this from a place of judgment, and I'm not going to get raw feminist about it. It's to share awareness, because it's cultural conditioning, and essentially so many people just don't even know, right? So by sharing awareness about it, we get to learn together, grow together, see where we can do better. And last week we were talking about the pressure to penetrate, like this push forward, and this whole thing of like, it's that empire driven mindset of like, I'm going to conquer. And it's super sexy to receive that when there's curiosity attached. So if we think about these female body parts being claimed, forever you shall remember me in your vagina. And why our bodies as women shut down, because there's certain elements of that conquer energy that we can't trust, and our body remembers not being able to trust that. So it's super important to know these pieces, because that's what we've been through as women.
Can I add something into there, darling? What you're talking about, this empire factor where, the masculine has been completely pressured into be that way, to push forward, to get a result. They are result based. Like the masculine energy is into produce, to go forward. The other side of that, so that's fine. Someone can be told or shared, or they can get the energy, or they're taught to do something a certain way. Like that is the goal. The other side of the story is that we as women are not raised to trust ourselves. So when we're looking at the container of trust, from the very beginning, it is made very, very clear to women in a society, in a religion, in a culture, that we cannot trust ourselves, that our felt sense, that our sense of feeling our boundaries, the way that orgasm even works in our body, is to be dismissed. So, there's always, like, you can go forward and you meet with resistance, but we're actually taught in large not to have that resistance. So this is also too where the men are emasculated, where they're only given one side of the story and they're having to take care because they've got to go forth and produce the orgasm. But we're only ever taught one type of male orgasm. There's over 8 in the male body, and most, or even a lot of their orgasms in their body don't have a refractory period, and ours don't. But we're only taught about the masculine, the male bodied ejaculatory orgasm. So they're given such little information, but they have to win with that little information. So there's that side, and then we're not even taught to resist. We're not taught to have really good nose, or that we're not even taught that or celebrated, I should say. We all get teased for it, I feel, and I think it comes up a lot, where the feminine is consistently changing. So when something's a yes, it does shift to a no. And it may be a no, then it's another yes, then it's a no, there's another yes. Like, we're consistently shifting and changing. David Data talks about this, in his book, women are always going to change because every moment's different. So bringing that, so I know, yeah, of course. So, but for, it's very overwhelming to the masculine that hasn't been given, the beauty of how women are, that hasn't been shared with them. And their energy it's consistent. They're moving forward. They're going towards something. So everything's towards that. So I think in this conversation, as we're looking to something moving forward, it's when it's not meeting resistance, this is also too where things get murky. So if it doesn't meet with the boundary, and this is what we were talking today about, the no's, where the men to be comfortable in hearing no, and women to get better at a more eloquent no. So I just wanted to bring that other side in, because I think it's
so amazing. Thank you.
We're not empowered with who we are as women.
And men are not empowered with who they are either. Like, when you think about, I love that point that you said, that it's this conditioning. Like, if you think about like the Industrial Revolution and that whole thing of, like, even just the pressure that you do what your forefathers did. We created this empire, now it's yours.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to show up in the following ways, tick all these boxes, become this version of a man, and then you get a nice little badge on your pocket to wear that says you're a good kid, and then you get to be rewarded in society. And so if you, and we don't, I feel that often we don't, as women, we don't really have enough compassion for that. We can have more compassion, more awareness for this giant wall of pressure. And like, I know I'm so grateful for the 70s revolution and what happened in my dad's generation, and the monumental amount of courage that it took for that generation to begin to break the patterns of saying by default, yes, of course, I will take on the empire. And we were talking about this last night. Like, my dad was really courageous. He didn't build a massive empire for us, but he courageously said no to what was being expected of him. And I think that's really rad. So how does this fit into how can we trust you? Like, I know for myself, I need to know that my beloved has the guts to stand in, like, to check something out and say, does that light me up? Is this a fuck yes for me? is this something that I know that I truly in my heart want to say yes to? Because if I can see someone doing something because of obligation, because it's the right thing to do, I immediately lose trust. Because how is he going to lead us through those deeper things? How is he going to hold me when I sometimes fucking, he's fucked me wide open and I just am a mess crying because there's some really deep trauma being released or something? You know, like it's just, yeah, that's all
But
I want.
also, yeah, and I love, because we were just showing before we hopped on, you know, before we hopped on recording this podcast, we were speaking about that, the know that your man has at the moment, like your man at the moment has, not that he's got it just for the moment. And just,
Yeah,
you know, and we touched on this last week, where when a woman receives the absolute truth from her partner, from the masculine, even though it might be an ouch, it's like, I can't manipulate him, or he's not going to turn around and manipulate me emotionally. This is kind of nice guy stuff later,
totally.
you know?
Mm.
So he's coming to all my gigs, and he comes and meets, and has dinner with my friends. And then, you know, and then it's like, well, I've done all of this for you. You're going to do this for me. And now we're in a pool of manipulation and obligation.
Totally. And also the head fuck of, but you did all these things in the beginning. Why don't you do it anymore?
Exactly. Yeah. Where it's just like, yeah, I was doing that just to please you so I could get you. So then now
Yeah.
it's
And
like, well, who are you? So,
exactly. Who did I fall in love with?
mm,
And
mm,
that's the piece that feels super solid and just awesome, because it's like his love for himself is
mm,
at this point of, I am not compromising. Like, this is who I am. Because to me, I can feel it in my body when someone is actually loving me for who I am, and when it's obsessive love, when it's obsession. Because obsession is coming from this place of not being deeply rooted in self, therefore willing to be pliable and be molded. Oh my God, I'll do anything to be with you. I will
mm,
flip myself upside down. I will completely change myself to be with you. And that's not trustable. And then what happens inside of our bodies as women is we start shutting down. We can't understand why we're not wet. We start niggling, like you were saying last week. We're like, dude, where is this consistency? Coming back to the whole thing that you said before about consistency, like, the masculine is the solar, the 24-hour
mm,
consistent energy, and the feminine is the lunar, where we're moving through this 28-day flow of all the fucking glorious seasons of life and the reflections
mm,
of feminine energy. So what we really need is that consistency, that 24-hour energy, that like, boom, hey, I'm still who I was yesterday, and I'm changing in consciousness, of course. Like, we don't have to be defined.
mm,
We're not going to be defined, especially when you're making love to a woman who knows herself. Her womb and her pussy is just going to fucking boom, bring you up into everything that you are. But it's like, what, that consistency that we need in your ability to keep loving yourself and not fucking ever compromise yourself for us.
mm,
And I really love that you said manipulation,
mm.
because like, this is where we as women need to be really aware of our power, because
We can cut a
creativity
man
is
down with a word, you know?
fully, creativity
We
is
can just,
magic. Our womb energy has the ability to create or cut down. And so
Mm.
how are we using our sexual energy, our erotic energy to be trustworthy in how we weave? Like, what are we sowing into these legendary, glorious lovers of ours, whether they're male or female?
Mhm. Mm.
And you wanted to talk about having an eloquence of a no, which I love.
Yeah, I know from my journey, and I know it's speaking to my female clients, and I know that we've had these sorts of conversations. Getting back to that part where socially, in families, culturally, religiously, women are not, sort of seen and honored for how they feel and how they shift and move and their intuition and their felt sense. So often we're raising ourselves into a paradigm that our nose, we're not even really trusting our nose. And by the time it gets out, it's so important that it's a no, that we say it angrily, or we say it pissed off, or we say it in a way because it's got to be bloody well heard, because there's no room for discussion anymore, or we're really fucking nervous. Oh my God, well, I've never really said, I've never really said no to this before. What's going to happen? There's the other side, that men are generally larger than us, they're stronger than us. We have epigenetics of, if we say no, something's going to happen. If they get angry, because we also have a culture that doesn't have safe places for men or women to get angry in, so it comes out sideways. So this is all of the stuff that's going on in the primal brain. So this one word no is so weighted much of the time. So it's this practice of being playful with our no. It's a practice of saying no a lot more. And I'm so sure this has happened with you. I know for me, if I get to say no more, and when I say no, and it's, I feel like it's respected, it turns into a yes often. Not that you say it, and not that men, you get to invite women to say no, so it turns to a yes, but it's leaning up to that edge. It's like, if I get to say no and it's really respected and received well, it's not, there's no tantrum, there's no manipulation on the other end to try, then I feel I'm safe to say no
Yeah.
in this container. And I can be playful and say no, and it's met with play, or it's met with honesty. So fun for someone to express, damn, oh, ouch, that hurts, or ouch, what a shame, or whatever. So, there's the honesty, and they're not dumping. So this is that container of safety, and safety is so fucking sexy. So the eloquence of the the eloquence of the female, is having the felt sense more in the no, being more feminine in the no. Not when I say feminine, I don't mean like soft and sweet, although that's so fine at times, but being it really truthful of like, I'm feeling, God, my no, this is a no to me, and I'm feeling really frustrated that I actually have to say it, because I was so sure I put this boundary in before. Like, it's fine to like feel it, but not to be dumping. Do you know what I mean? Like, so when the more felt sense of a no, that can be received a lot easier. And also too, when we're in our truth and it's not an anger dump, then we're dealing with the no instead of the anger dump, because often then it becomes this secondary thing that we have to deal with, or the third party thing now that we need to deal with. And before, I can't remember exactly. Oh, we're talking about penetration, the male privilege. Oh, that's right, our genitals. Male privilege there is also social sense that men need to practice hearing no. They really need to practice being able to hear no on a social sense, on a cultural, societal.
Every sense.
There is that for them.
Social, especially.
Yeah.
In all ways.
In all ways, but it comes out
Because
in
I
all
go
ways.
to the lovemaking space, right? And think about this whole piece where obviously both people want to get off. And if a man cannot hear a no when you're saying, can you do it a little bit differently? Like, so close, but this is how I need my clitoris to be caressed, or whatever it is that you need to say. This piece of knowing that your partner can hold you in a redirection, that they want to know how you need it, rather than assuming. And this is that thing of like the pressure on him to just be able to do it. Like, boom, here I am. This is how it's worked for all the other people, right? So it's such a two-way street, because for us, we need to be able to have this place of not just putting up with it, of being able to say, to being able to claim our pleasure and how we want it as individuals, knowing that there are no two pussies that are the same. So to approach them in the same way is ridiculous. It's the same as approaching a cock in the same way. Like, every individual is different. Basically, our genitals are the same as our fingerprint. We're all so different. So why bring this ego thing of needing to be right into the space? We can just fully come from this place of, hey, I need to know what your no is so that I can take you to your yes. And the other piece I just wanted to kind of bounce with you on the things that you brought up is when we, like, in the boundaries thing, where, you know, you're feeling really frustrated, another amazing thing that I've discovered is asking a question. Hey, I think we talked about this. What do you recall from that conversation? What do you recall that I needed, and I want to clarify what you needed? Because this is how, like, I'm feeling a bit frustrated because maybe we had a misunderstanding. Because in asking the question, can I clarify? Can we just have a minute to clarify? It kind of takes it out of that place of the raw.
Yeah.
And I also really love what you said, because essentially, it's the building up of not speaking out that creates that thing that both genders don't trust that in themselves. Like, we all have that there, where we really fear speaking our need or speaking our boundary, because we don't know how to do it. Often we actually just don't have the communication skills to be able to say it in a way that is non-confrontational.
Yeah.
Like, look at most movies, I just cringe. I'm like, can't believe this is teaching our kids how to communicate. It's ridiculous. And so a little breakthrough that we had this week is, I said to him, can we just have a little thing where if you feel like there's something building up, and I have something that I feel like I'm building up, but I don't know how to talk about it, that we just say to each other, hey, there's a thing that I know I need to talk about, and I don't know how to talk about it. So then the person receiving, the person who needs to speak, is automatically in a place of listening. And creating enough, like, then it's the opportunity to trust, because the next building block in that is making a decision not to react if you're taking offense to your person. Like, just to fucking see them, to hear them, to listen, and be supportive. Because that's going to shatter trust immediately if there's offense taken and drama town.
I so love that. Like, straight away, what I hear is, whoever is expressing that there's a thing that they don't know how to talk about. That's a feminine chaos. That's emotion. That's unknown. Like, what's going to happen if I don't say it? I don't know how it's going to come out. And so as soon as the other person hears that, the deeper breath, the stillness, they're creating the masculine container of witness. Like, okay, because they're yes. Like the yes to receive that is, I'm agreeing to create the masculine container right now.
Yeah, I've got you.
I've got you. And then the silence, because you know that they're nervous to say it. So it's also understanding that there's nerves or unsurety. You know, what do we want in partnership is to like hold that space. So it's like, please, you know, be safe. So you create the safe not automatically, but there's that natural flow to go into the masculine container of creating safety, the container of safety. That's really beautiful. I wanted to actually, well, it's still going on from that. It's like, this is what I love about kink. Yeah. Like when we're talking about a no. So when
you
you
signed
said,
up for a kink class, didn't you?
oh yeah, I'm about to,
Going,
I just got the email. I'm
going
going to
next
do
level.
yeah, I'm going full on masterclass with these two women in Austin. Like it's
amazing. I can't wait to hear it all
my
about
God, all of the deeps. Yes, it's doming your life. I notice I've changed position.
Start
Up.
getting naughty.
Got my naughtiness on.
Got your naughty giggles on.
So in kink, when you're discussing the safe word and you're building the container, when you've heard what the other, you know, if you're going to be the dom, if you're taking that role, the sub shares, you know, the person in receiving shares their safe word. And the next question is, it's not just, okay, that's your safe word. The question is, so when you say your safe word, what do you need from me? Yeah. So it's like also empowering. Okay, well, I need you to stop. I need you to hold me. I need you to step back. You know, maybe it'd be like if I say red, that I will need everything to stop, you know, and maybe even distance. And then, you know, then I need you to ask me, do I need more? Whatever, like you're placing all of the not responsibility, you're being able to be responsible for what happens. So then also too, in kink, you practice that. This is why kink to me is the most spiritual, in-depth way to engage with someone, because it is the creating the container. So, okay, there's your no. You want me to say this, well, there's your safe word. You're like, so then it's practice. So then the, you know, person A says their safe word, person B responds away that and go, you know, and then it gets tweaked. If it was like, oh no, not like that, da, 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 da. Because it's like, you're going to go so deep in these containers. You need to have this container of safety. So that's what I really love about that.
Oh my God, that is so beautiful, and it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Even just thinking about kink as spiritual, like I can fully hear all the energetic and sensual blueprints going, yes, please.
Yes, yeah. Energetic and kink are actually really well matched. All of them are matched, like when you find the bridges. But energetic kink are really well matched because the psycho.
Yeah, exactly. It's a place of play and curiosity.
Yeah.
And a lot of people wouldn't even know how to communicate. Like, let's be honest, by default, even saying, hey, can we have some code words for the things? It's so different. It's just a foreign concept for a lot of people.
It always intrigues me how the blockage towards communication is more acceptable, and how the possibility of drama is so much more comfortable, where the outcome of drama and chaos and pain and hurt is more comfortable, or perceived to be more of a comfortable option than the option of being uncomfortable, learning ways to communicate and trying things out.
Yeah.
It astounds me. It's like, okay. So,
Well, it's literally like comes down to whether you're choosing to be an evolving human or to be defined by what you've already experienced. Because yeah, I mean, I look back at the way I used to communicate 2 years ago, and it took a massive rumble with my one of my family members to wake me up to what I was doing by default and what we were doing. And one of my beautiful cousins, Josho, him and I were chatting. He could feel me this week, and he was like, JD, I just want to wrap my brother arms around you. Like, how are you? What do you need? Are you okay? And he was so on point, because I needed to be held by that beautiful masculine presence. And oh my God, I feel like I'm going to cry. He said, I was talking about the abusive stuff that I'm coming out of. And he said to me, I will never say anything that my wife has to digest. I will never speak a word into the center of our relationship that will damage her or give her more to deal with in this world, because it's my job to protect her and lift her up. And it was such a monumental moment in time for me, because it just solidified that any fire, any reactivity in me, and the spurting forward of words that cannot be unspoken, like, sticks and stones might break my bones, but names will never hurt me. That is fucking ridiculous. And this is the place where if I can trust you to be angry and not hurt me, I'm yours. If I can trust you to speak what you need to speak in a way that is uncomfortable for both of us, but true, I'm yours. And unfortunately, what we know is to blame the other person for how we're feeling, and to just go into this place of like overpowering energy, and it's not necessary. So I've made a little pact with myself that I just will never say things to people that I love that is going to give them more to deal with in the world. And this is like an attack on their personality. This is an attack in making them wrong. So let's not mistake healthy boundaries for abuse. They're not the same thing. There is a way that we can communicate and be honest and be in our feeling, and you can still be pissed without attacking the other person, without having this place of making them wrong and their existence wrong because you're feeling uncomfortable in yourself. So yeah, if any couples out there or just anybody needs help with that, I have some spaces available for sessions this week, because I know how deeply it sucks to have to know that you need to speak up, but you just don't know how to. And it's like literally years and years of retraining yourself and learning new ways to come into the container that you're allowed to have your feeling and you're allowed to have your boundaries. Boundaries are good. Saying, hey, when this thing keeps happening, it hurts me. Not when you do this thing, you're being so inconsiderate, and then you spew forth all the interpretations of what that person's actions and non-actions mean.
I've just recently been doing Byron Katie. That just really hit. I've been revisiting. I took a client through last week, and yeah, that whole thing of you've done this, you are this, you do this. Oh, it's just, yeah. I often hear her voice of like,
Is it
is that
true?
true?
Is that really
Do they
Do I know
always?
it to be true 100%? Well, actually, no. I don't know what another person is thinking. It doesn't matter if I've
Mm,
been hanging out with them for 20 years. I still don't know what they're thinking because they're a
yeah.
changing, evolving person.
Oh,
And
a
now we loop
conscious.
back around to that thing of
Mm,
like, hey, I'm just curious. And you can say, my brain is telling me that when you do or don't do this thing, it means this. Is it true?
mm.
Because then they can go, no.
Oh, yeah.
My sister sent me this really funny meme today, the other day, and it was about this woman who's like spent the day with her man, and she's got all these sexy things planned, and she's fully in the connection space because that's our jam. That's the women bring the connection. Anyway, it's really funny. It goes on and on and on and on, and she's there interpreting his distance and his disconnection and all the things as like, he's not attracted to me and he's moving away from me and blah blah blah. So it's like a little diary entry of a woman, right? And then she goes to bed and she's like, baby, come to bed with me. And he's just sitting there and he's like, yeah, soon. Then he comes to bed and he falls asleep and she's like, oh my God, he's so not attracted to me, he doesn't love me anymore, blah, 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 blah. His diary says, I can't get the fucking boat to work. What's wrong with it?
She's got 17 pages.
And he's just like, he's been distant.
The boat.
He's been distant because he's just needs to get the boat to work.
Mm.
In
I have
between,
my
and
own little real
the
life.
idea of the boat is to provide her with an adventure and this rad thing that he wants to do with her. But
he probably wanted to do it on the day. He's probably wanting to do it on the day and he doesn't want to let her down. So he's just staying in it. Oh, bless. So I've got my own real life example of that last Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, so I went on, I went on a date with this man before he flew away. This man that I gave my pussy juice card to. So we're seeing each other for the third time that week. But I was so nervous. Like I was more nervous for that coffee date than I was going out for lunch, seeing him at night. I was a mess. Like I was in my little, like really, really nervous. And so I also I saw, could have, a minute in, I went, oh, this is what's happening. So I go in, and because I'm a bit late, and he's sitting there. We're in this small coffee shop. And I felt, because I was feeling nervous and I was feeling more self-aware, I interpreted that he was going distant and cold. Yeah. Distant and cold, and sitting up and distant and cold and being a bit silent. So then I'm getting more nervous and I'm getting more like, and so I also, what I do, and this is one thing I speak to clients about with women, like I shut myself, like we go into defense. Oh, he doesn't like me anymore. So you go into defense and shut off. And like, that is like the most painful thing you can ever do to the mass is like shut him out. So this is all split second stuff. Yeah. So I shut down. And so I noticed that it was just, and I went, oh, he really doesn't like me. And because there's nothing happening in the space now, because I'm not feeling, and I'm not in my felt sense. I'm not in my emotion, whatever's going on. I've just gone stiff as a board. He's just, oh, what's going on? So then I'm like, oh, so then I shared and said, oh my God, I'm really nervous. And he's like, really? He's going, and he told me how beautiful I was. He goes, this dress that you're wearing, this, da, da, da. And he goes, well, you might be nervous, but I'm sitting here going, how the fuck am I going to kiss you? And all I want to do is like rub all of your legs and rub every inch of your body and kiss every inch of your body. So here I'm thinking, he doesn't like me. And he's in his mind going, we're in a small coffee shop and I want to devour her. How am I going to do that? Like, and so I'm off like, okay, it's over. Like he doesn't like me. And he's like trying to, how do I get her undressed? just that whole thing of like where our heads go a different way. And it was just this thing, like he's gone into thinking. He went straight, he was into thinking, and he was really getting really practical about it. So he's in his mind getting practical. And what can I say to her? What, what's too much information, what's not? And my brain's telling me something else, But then once I'm in the felt set, now he's got something to, she's nervous and she's giggling. And it's like, oh yeah, I can see, wow, I can see that you're shifting in your seat. Like it was beautiful. But it's just that split of like, my brain's gonna take me down here to the untruth land, to what
exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where it's really great to respond to your brain in untruth land by inviting them into connection, because that's what we need. Anytime we start shutting down, there is a need for connection, right? So I just really want to reflect how cool it was that you shared something honest in that moment. I'm feeling nervous. So and by doing that, he got to know you a bit better. So essentially, by sharing what you were feeling without blaming, without projecting, you could have gone, dude, it's really obvious you're not into me, blah, 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 blah.
Stormed out.
And he's like, but wait, I was just strategizing the kiss. But you didn't. You just held yourself. You went into that place where you're not abandoning you and invited him into your heart, your world. And that's what I love about David Dieter's work, is recognizing that, really working with the awareness of what you were talking about last week with the positive and negative poles, and that for masculine and feminine, whoever's playing those roles, it's actually opposite, right? So we nourish each other, and the circuitry between the masculine and feminine becomes a circle because we come from our heart and we don't shut down. Because the minute that we shut down, then we've got two negative poles, and what do they do? So his sexual and arousal energy is inspired by our heart radiance and our ability to just be in this place of, hey, I am supremely fucking feminine, and I feel my way through life. I am willing and safe to feel the things that I'm feeling right now without making him responsible or her responsible, without fucking, geez, I've got my potty mouth on today. Sorry, everybody, not sorry. So yeah, it's this thing of really being willing. Like, how willing am I to feel every single thing that is moving through me without making it a story? And then inviting him into a snippet of your world. But it has to be coming from a fully self-responsible place.
Yeah.
I'm feeling nervous.
And that creates safety. I mean, these are these containers of safety. It's safe when you know the truth, when you feel that it's truthful. Because the masculine feels the world through the feminine. So if we're withholding, when we're withholding and we hold on until, what do they feel? They feel our dump. They feel our anger. They feel our resentment. That's what gets felt. They're not feeling it, because we're withholding, pulling back, shutting down. And then, so they can't feel what's going on until it's thrown at them like a cannonball. It's a dance.
That is how we lose their trust. Because if a man feels like he can't do anything right if nothing is enough, then he has no more purpose inside of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why it's super important. Like, how am I using my magic? How am I using this sexual energy? Because I have the power to move the things in the direction I want it to go, or completely blow this thing up and make this man shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's super easy to do that when you perceive that you're about to be rejected.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're already in the conclusion that you're being abandoned or rejected. This feels like an amazing time to talk about the astrology of this weekend. So we've got a solar eclipse, but the cool thing is that Jupiter and Mars and Venus are having this amazing rendezvous in Pisces. So what this actually means is Jupiter is the big benevolent father energy of the universe. He's all about fun, abundance, play, yum, right relationships with ourselves and others, right? So Big Daddy is having a date with Lady Sensuality herself. And this is really, it's a really powerful time to set up an erotic space with your lover, to practice all the things that we have shared with you today, to come into this right relationship with yourself. So within all of us, we have Jupiter, and within all of us, we have Venus. Within all of us, we have Mars. All of the planets exist within us, and this is the way that they speak through us is different. But what's powerful about this weekend is that we get to have a rendezvous with this beautiful divine masculine energy of Jupiter in Pisces. So it's really deep, dreamy waters. Great time to practice sex magic. It's a great time to have a date with your partner and cast your dreams forward and what you really want to co-create together as a couple. And paired with that is this north node of the moon. So the north node of the moon is like this collective path of destiny. This may look like a complete financial upheaval, which we know we're going through as a collective. So because it's a solar eclipse, everybody, we are working magic of attraction. We're working with the light. There will be this pull to look at what's crumbling and freak the fuck out about it, especially if you're from the generation of Chiron in Taurus, because there is a whole generation who have Chiron in Taurus where our stability and security around money can be our Achilles heel. So during this eclipse season, because this eclipse window, which eclipses, they ripple out for 6 months. So my friends, we're not defined by our financial status. We are not defined by the empires and the stuff that Melissa and I have already addressed today. We're actually defined by our fuck yes. We are defined by our magic. We're defined by our freedom. So this is why using the energies of what's happening in the universe, because planets are light and light is information. And the information that is being shared with humanity right now is powerful. On top of this, Lilith, the first mother before Eve got her fucking bra on, Lilith was in the garden without the bra, rocking it out. Hello, darling. Make sure you eat the whole apple, otherwise humanity is going to be fucked. So thank you Eve, for eating the apple. And now Lilith is home. Now Lilith is healing the mother wound in us all. We are all being called home to what is Divine Mother. We have lived on a planet that has worshipped Divine Father for way too fucking long, and Divine Mother is home because what they are doing is sitting side by side. Jupiter and Lilith sitting side by side, saying, I am here to liberate you from this bullshit that you have been taught by default, that you have to rely on a system that doesn't work for your provision. Because the truth is that our provision comes from our sexual energy. And this is one of the reasons that Melissa and I are so passionate about what we do. Because we are here to help liberate you from sexual and emotional, mental limitation that has been put on us by default, because our pleasure, abundance, flow, freedom, creativity, erotic space, it's our birthright. Having right relations with all beings is our fucking birthright, man. So as it crumbles, as the shitstorm continues to be kicked up because it needs to be, we're in the middle of a renovation process. Keep having orgasms. Keep doing the things. Remember that sometimes silence is the language of wisdom. That when we feel, we get to heal. We get to decide what wolf we're feeding and just be rad.
That was awesome, honey.
Delivered from my backup dancers to you, because I am your backup dancer.
Can I ask at the moment, and I don't know if it's still around, but a few on the weekend, maybe under the moon or next to the moon, there was 3 planets aligned. Is that what you're talking about? Those 3?
Yeah.
So they're still okay.
Venus and Mars and Saturn. No, Saturn. Where is Saturn? I don't know. There's so many of them. Let me tell you. I feel like I need to say this for someone.
I just want to speak into the space that your clitoris never ages. That came to me when you were talking about keep on having your orgasms and your clitoris doesn't age.
Yes.
You know.
Oh, and it's so beautiful in the Pussy Talks film that we share with Our Lady, which will be probably a part of our retreat in Mexico this year. Is seeing these beautiful older women, and because the entire documentary is amazing, and these women talk about how they receive their pleasure and what works for them, because really, like we were saying earlier, what turns you on is not what turned on the previous lover. So it's really about claiming who you are and what you need. And what I loved was in watching the Pussy Talks film was the beautiful grey pussies who had so much wisdom and so much play.
And I loved how at the end they would say, if my pussy could talk, she would say. I love that.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Did you find where Saturn is, love?
Yeah, Saturn's in Aquarius. So he's not a part of that beautiful line in the sky, but yeah. And Mars in Pisces is a bit uncomfy because it's like putting a fiery warrior inside murky water. The knowing where to take action could be a little bit confusing, but just really lean into that yummy Jupiter energy and the Venus energy and that sacred union, masculine, feminine, sensuality within you through taste, touch, smell, sound. Like really get in the body. Taurus season is about being in the body.
Interesting, you're talking about the warrior. After I had my self-pleasure practice on Sunday morning and cleaned up the floor, I pulled a card and it was a Lady of Lightning as my ally.
That's you, babe.
It's like, you know. So yes.
So tell us what's lightning in your world, my honey. What are you, where are you in your business? You're cooking so many things in the kitchen right now.
Yes, I am. So I'm just getting really clear around, like, I've got my whiteboard here. Yesterday I was writing up like, an all-in-one color, all the things that I need to touch on every week. Like, have I done the bits for this, and this? Reaching out for people, just to get onto podcasts. But I've made a clear thing. My men's course and my women's course will be online by end of June, July. So I'm getting all of my videos back already from the first lot of filming that I've done. So just getting clearer where I want that to go. And
exciting.
It is really, really exciting. I'm feeling more, it's also too really honoring about the hugest year that I had last year and how exhausted I was, because I went and got all of my hormones and minerals and everything checked. So I'm actually on homeopathics and minerals, and it's just made such a difference. Like, oh, such a difference. I'm just feeling all of that is in such support of getting stuff. And as you know, because I left you a message, I've just been creating and downloading ideas for our retreat and the mentorship. And I feel like this, it's all coming forth, and like, the excitement for that. So yes.
I'm so excited about it too. So yeah, we're holding a retreat around January.
In Mexico.
So lovers, it's going to be so fun and very deep, of course, because Melissa and I are both the perfect blend of playful and spiritual as fuck. And I'm really excited to hold space for all of the spectrums of play and really going deeper, especially with this stuff that we've talked about today. So you can trust yourself. Like, at the end of the day, it's all about knowing who we are and being fully tapped in to our yes and our no.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Power is in play. That just also came to me too. What's this, like, your clitoris doesn't age and power is in play. And that's what I think our retreat, we talk about this all the time. Our retreat's definitely around lots of play, the power in that, and then those containers that bring you to that. So yes.
Yeah, fully. Because playfulness and being silly and humor and being light and flirty and all these things, that's so spiritual. And there is so much
feminine
seriousness inside of these industries and inside of all of the stuff. And honeys, it does not have to be like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like that. So yeah,
awesome.
We will be leading by example and helping you tap into all of that, especially down at the cock waffle shop.
We'd be running around licking cocks on sticks. Oh my goodness me. That could be our creating office. All right, lovers. Thank you so much for being here. Bye, JD. Thank you.
Bye, my honey. Love.
I love you. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Send your questions and feedback in. Like, follow, share.